Ives.
Hi.
Hey, you know me. Hey, that's a little interesting. How's everybody doing? Guys, before we get started, I just want to make sure that we all give a big thank you to Mr. Willy Wonka, because he was able to let Colin out of the factory early today so that he could join us. Oh, I didn't see you back there, Colin. I'm sorry. I just want to pull my hand up his jacket. He looks like a fucking ventriloquist down here with that bow tie on. Just need a little more red around the cheeks and anyhow, guys, thanks again for coming here. We've got some of the least talented comedians that are here for you. They will make up for their lack of talent by just trying to be as filthy as possible. So I apologize ahead of time. We're going to get this show rolling right away with our first comedian. His name is G.W. Foley. And how would I describe G.W. Foley? Let's see. He's the only person I've ever known that went through a midlife crisis when he was 24. Because you're unhealthy. You're going to die. This is what I'm saying. This is how it's going to go, basically. GW puts the die in diabetes. GW says he hasn't seen his penis for the last 20 years, and he claims it's because he's fat, and he is, but he also has a tiny penis. So guys, let's give him some time on stage here. Guys, welcome the very large, the very small G.W. Foley.
Have you guys ever heard the term giant cocksucker before? That's bright. I thought Lord of the Rings was a lie when they're like, oh, that's an Ent. He speaks for the trees. No, he's fucking right there. Seriously. You know what they say about, big feet, big dick? He proves it's wrong. Kyle. Sweet. Kyle's here. This is what happens when Pugsley Adams starts doing intravenous drug use and gets AIDS. Seriously, he lost 100 pounds recently, which is okay because the state police found the body of the dead hooker. There's so much more. I wanted to do cancer jokes and stuff like that, and I respect cancer too much to do that to him. Dan Gilbert. Let me just say, this is what happens when you have John Mayer and breed that with somebody with Down syndrome. This is... Yeah, I thought so. He does jokes about his tattoos, thinking that they were going to make him tough. I think the bullseye tramp stamp proves him wrong. Trying to think who's behind me. Sean Williams, I thought someone was staring at my ass. You guys don't know, but he's a sculptor. That's right. Works with hard rocks, which is the only time in his life he touches something hard. Peter Pardo's here. And if Peter Pardo reminds me if Hawkeye Pierce from MASH was a pedophile. The reason why he wears the Hawaiian shirt is because semen and tears of toddlers are really difficult to get out. And Gilman's here. So glad that Arnie from What Eating Gilbert Grape showed up. I first met him at a comedy contest a couple months ago, and I thought he was actually doing a spot-on impersonation. No, he's actually just retarded. But seriously, man, can you point out on Dan where Peter touches you, though? Jose, Mi hermano. Don't worry, man. Ice is gonna pick you up after the show. I love him. He mows my lawn, paints my house, fucks my sister. She now has 20 kids. They're all bald. She would have gotten an abortion, but he's Catholic. I mean, she could have swallowed, but. I did want to say something in your native language. Lo siento. Culo jodido tu madre, tu abuela, and tu madrina. For everyone who doesn't speak Spanish, I just said I ass fucked his mom, his grandmother, and his godmother. I was gonna say daughter, but even I have limits. Not that she's young, she's just ugly. Which leads me to Colin. Seriously, guys, who the fuck voted him constable? Like, I heard that and I was just like, you guys are punking me, right? Like, he's gonna show up late for his own funeral. Like, I'm not worried about getting speeding tickets now, just driving through. Like, he's never gonna show up to court. Like, oh man, I thought that was at 8:30. Motherfucker, it's 2. I'm really glad at the turnout tonight. Unlike every other time I've performed here and there's nobody except for his parents. And I think they just have to be here. He's done so much with so little. He was in a FedEx commercial. And I'm glad that 85 cents is now paying for this room. That's every single month. I didn't even realize it was your birthday. Like, this is the ego that he has. He was like, hey guys, let's do a roast. I was like, oh cool, who? Of me? Like, that's like saying, hey, I'm gonna jerk off to my own self. Like, but seriously, man, you're great. You're incredible. I love what you've done with the place. And hopefully you won't die like me in like 6 years. So, thanks, man. Love you.
All right, that was about how I thought that would go. Not well. Yeah, DW's penis is actually so small it reminds me of Colin Doyle's body.
Nothing's that small.
We got some more people here. We got our next comedian. His biggest credit is that he is the house comic. Here. Just so you guys know, we are in Bridgewater, Vermont. Not exactly a hotbed for talent, as you are soon discovering here. Kyle, you know, I think sometimes I think he looks a lot like Ryan Reynolds in the second half of Deadpool. Kyle's last name is Hickory, which is fitting because he is a hick. And like any good redneck, Kyle is a very resourceful person. You know, like when it comes to dating, some people would go on to an online dating site. And some people might go to a bar, and Kyle's like, yeah, I got this family reunion coming up, so let's go get down on that. Guys, please welcome Kyle Hickory.
And we dance. Keep it going for Andre the Giant that didn't fill out. No, seriously, Brian's a great guy, but he is to lanky what I was to fat. Which brings me to talk about some of the comics that you guys might not know about that couldn't make it here tonight, that were supposed to be here tonight, but it'll be funny for these guys. So, I've been eating like shit for the past 3 days. I was working on trying to fill out Chad Blodgett's shoes. It didn't work. Those bitches still fit like snowshoes. It turned out he was totally 100% bought in to be here tonight until he figured out that it was a roast, not a pig roast. I'm also bummed that Duke Mulberry couldn't be here tonight. Yeah, I noticed no applause there. It was just that I didn't want to be the most white trash guy on the dais. Like GW lives in Rutland, and I'm still the most white trash guy on the dais. That's not fair. Pierre couldn't be here, which is fine, because I don't do jokes about Pierre, because I'm on his payroll. I'm glad that GW's here. GW did my roast a while ago. It was an honor to have him. The joke I told that night is that GW, since he was a little boy, he's always had a mouth on him. Unfortunately, it was his uncle's. GW Foley was the first guy that ever told me he got a vasectomy, and I was like, thank fucking God. Like, we can't have these fucking comics I perform with reproducing. Like, that's for smart people. I'm glad that Sean Hunter Williams is here. It's nice to have him. My wife was super pissed when she realized that we weren't roasting with the guy from Boy Meets World. God damn it, was she sad on the ride over here. I should have left her in hanging. Jose, I'm glad that you're here. This is Colin's idea of diversity. He picked the 6 most out-of-shape white guys and the palest Mexican he could find. But like, if you're ever down on your luck, I'm glad that you made it here lately with all the checkpoints. But honestly, bro, you ever need a job washing dishes, I got you covered. Which brings us to, diversity brings us right to our next roaster. That would be Daniel Gilbert. Because every dais needs a strong feminine character. Well, and it's different times now, guys. You don't actually need a woman on the dais. You just need a man that doesn't identify as a man. Gilman, I met him earlier tonight, so to be honest, I don't have much to talk about other than that hipster haircut. He seems like an all right guy. Peter's here. So that's fun. I imagine, I've never been to Hawaii. I imagine that half of Hawaii looks like Peter Pardo does. This is half of it is middle-aged white guys in Hawaiian shirts, drinking Keystone. You know, I was gonna try to write a mean pedophilia joke about Peter earlier, but I figured you guys could write your own jokes, they're so easy. And that brings me to the man of the hour, Mr. Colin Doyle. Colin and I go way back, way back, and I love this kid. He's turning 30, it's a big moment. The sad part is he's not aging gracefully. Colin Doyle at 30 looks like Tom Cruise at 60. And ever since we were kids, Colin Doyle would do absolutely anything for a goddamn joke back in the day. One time I watched a video of him lighting a kid's hair on fire. That actually happened. Recently, I'm most impressed of that he's kept it going, that, you know, he's still trying to convince people that he's straight this long. That's going to be the biggest joke of all at this 40th roast. You can definitely say that you judge the character of a man by the company that he keeps, which is one thing that is not true for Colin Doyle whatsoever. Colin, more dicks hang out with Colin than in a casino bathroom. like it's seriously a rose behind millions of thorns. He's a great guy. He's got a lot of assholes as friends.
Hear, hear.
I think now, I had this moment thought earlier where, not to compare this to roasts of yesteryear, but I was thinking back to the roast of Trump. And I was thinking, we might regret this one. You know, 15 years down the road, we might be like, fuck, we shouldn't have given Colin that much publicity. I'll leave on this. Colin spent a lot of time in New York before he came back, opened a beautiful comedy club, had a bunch of fucking awesome comics here, has hosted some really great shows on his day. I gotta say, there's the one thing that he brought back with him from New York. He kept all his Vermont traits. Like, he still skis in the same gloves he stacks wood with. He still prefers Long Trail over Top Shelf liquor. The one thing he kept is that fucker will be running 20 minutes late for the rest of his goddamn life. Thank you guys very much. Enjoy the roast. Thank you.
All right, guys, one more time for Kyle Hickory. Kyle did not mention that one of his favorite hobbies is swimming in his own gene pool. All right, our next roaster's already been getting a lot of flack. He claims to be an artist, and we know that because he's wearing red pants. Talking about Sean Hunter Williams. And Sean is the only guy I've ever known that like went to a barber shop and he brought a picture of Big Bird and was like, you know, well, I've already got the nose like this, so I might as well just keep doing it. And they're like, I don't know if you could pull it off, because like he seems a lot straighter than you. Unfortunately, Snuffleupagus cannot be here as well. We do have Sean Hunter Williams, so guys, please let him know.
Hi everybody, I am no good at these. I'm mainly here for support. I thought Colin might be drunk enough to fall over, so I'm just here to prop him up in case that happens. Thanks a lot for having me. I think maybe I'll just say some things about Colin that haven't been said already. He's a talented guy. He's true to his word. He's a good friend. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that about Colin, so I'm just going to say that tonight from the heart. And I thought maybe I could just say that and do a quick birthday song. Hope you don't mind. This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. Thank you very much. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you, Sean. That was insightful. Sean got here. He's like, I'm not sure what I'm doing here. People are being mean to me. I'm gonna get my adult coloring book out. I need to de-stress. Our next presenter, I'm excited to have our next presenter here because Stan Gilbert, I've been doing comedy with him for a long time. I think it's up to 5 years now, because I've always wanted to hear like the same 5 jokes for 5 years. Dan is a skateboarder, and Dan never wears a helmet when he skateboards. And you think like he's just like a dangerous guy, but like it's just that they don't make a quadruple X skateboard helmet. Guys, please welcome Dan Gilbert.
Brian Munzer, everybody. I'll be honest, he's got notes about everybody, and I saw Dan and just big head. I didn't hear anything about that 5 years bullshit. I'll be honest with you, I'm pretty unprepared for this and don't know what I'm gonna do. Which is actually a direct quote from Peter's laying off last week. Putting Peter on a comedy show is like putting on AM radio at a nightclub. Pete, you look like the lead role in an R-rated episode of SVU. I actually love Pete, so like I wrote like a nice joke. Pete's an Uber driver, which makes sense because he drives me crazy. Kyle Hickory was up here before me. Kyle, you human tire swing. You look like a toad robbed a JCPenney. Kyle recently lost like 45 pounds, which is cool. If he could only lose 45 minutes of his act, he'd be really onto something. I actually like that GW's here. I like that you guys are sitting next to each other. It's like a remake of that movie Twins, if both people were Danny DeVito. GW looks like Macklemore if he only rapped about diabetes. Chad Blodgett was supposed to be here tonight, but he's busy breathing heavily somewhere else. For those of you that don't know, Chad's fat. Burned. Ryan Kenyon was supposed to be here too, but he's actually in a contest at Mohegan Sun, which means he's bombing right about now. Big ups. Gilman's here. Hello, Gilman. Gilman actually reminds me a lot of myself when I first started comedy, which is really interesting for me now because I finally understand why nobody liked me. You look like Nick Carter. Burn. Sean was also here. He actually said nice stuff. He did like a reverse roast, like a fridge. Sean looks like someone stopped halfway through building an Owen Wilson Muppet. I like that one too, honestly. I was pretty hyped on that one. Jose's here. I love Jose. I've known him for so long. He lost his business. He's getting divorced. Burn. Last but not least, Colin. I've known Colin for such... Touch my hand, please. I've known Colin for so long. I actually went on a little comedy tour with Colin for a little while, and it made me come to the conclusion that Colin has the personality of a yard sale. There's like a lot there, and you think it's gonna be great, but that doesn't mean any of it's valuable or interesting. This is like honestly the 5th roast that we've all done together, so it's getting tough to write material. And when I found out a roast was being put on, it made sense that it was by Colin, because who'd have guessed someone that relies on impersonations would beat something into the ground. Colin, I love you, but without impersonations, your act is just Pete's B-sides. I was just kidding for all of it. Thank you. I forgot my fucking Brian joke.
Do it.
Brian's real tall. What a fag, right? Brian's so tall, it's inconvenient. Brian's so tall, he's never been in frame. Shit. Brian's so tall, he's understudying for a lighthouse. I should have just not done it.
That was a great lesson in how to like really do great and then true loss. I am tall. Thank you for telling me that. Your head is big. That's why the helmet is big. We've got some more performers here. We've got, this is my first introductions to comedy in New England was Jose. And Jose isn't very funny. But Jose wanted to get into comedy. And I think he was like, let's see, because he used to do he put on some shows, and he was like, well, I could write jokes. I could try to be funny. He was like, I got $300, I'll buy a PA system. Jose claims that he's not Mexican. Jose has 3 jobs and 4 kids. A dolphin's back isn't wetter than yours. Please welcome to the stage, Jose. He has a last name, but it's hard to pronounce. Jose.
And I'm short. Yeah, police lineup's got to be the best or the worst thing for you, isn't it? Anyways, I too hadn't been prepared for this one. Dan's burn was actually very accurate. I am going through a divorce. I haven't lost my businesses, and it's kind of a world-changing thing. However, I really didn't want to miss this. Colin, you've inspired me so much over the last couple of years that I've known you, and doing this. And like I said earlier, I apologize for not being prepared, but I also wanted to be here for you. One of the things that Colin likes to tell you is his credits, everything he's been in. But there's a couple of them that most people don't know about. I IMDb'd it, so it's got to be true. So I believe you were in Weapons of Mass Destruction. Saving Ryan's Privates. That was one to your credit. Minority Report Me in the Ass. Oh man, I love GW's laugh. It's awesome. Thank you so much. You always pick up a show that way, and that sexy beard of yours. Let me tell you. When we were up in the hot air balloon holding hands. Who's gonna believe you were in a hot air balloon? Nobody. We were on the ground. Joke doesn't work. Oh man. So I'm gonna leave you with this. Happy birthday, buddy. Congratulations on what you've been building. It's very exciting, and hope you get to do this a lot longer.
I'm aware, Dan. Thank you for that out. Guys, our next comic coming to stage is kind of a newcomer to this group. He's right here. His name is Gilman, and Gilman's pants say 2015, and his sideburns say 1974. Gilman recently got back from a trip to do comedy in New York, because he thinks he's going to make it in New York City. That's like Colin trying out for the Celtics. Gilman once said to me, he said, "I'm not sure if pineapple juice makes semen taste any better, but I do know that semen makes pineapple juice." Tastes like you're at Peter Pardo's house. Guys, please welcome Gilman Seymour.
Brian has never had to lower a mic stand in his life. I don't want to be here. I have my whole life ahead of me. I was like super early here, and I drove past the venue like, as if I wasn't going there, and that felt really good. Felt really good. This is a weird looking group of dudes. This is like we're all here for like a DUI class. Let's get a hand for our host Brian Munzer. Don't you just want to hang yourself from him? A lot of people talk about how Brian's so tall, but what people don't talk about is how small his head is. Like, especially next to Colin's dick, like 2 peas in a pod. Like, you guys wanted me to wear a suit tonight? That's not fucking happening. I'd rather open up about my feelings. Like, me and Brian and Peter would carpool to Mike's. That's a weird bunch to just get out of a RAV4. That's a lot to take in. Like, everyone would be like, maybe they have the same therapist. Peter Pardo's here. Yeah, my buddy. Yeah, he's wearing his famous Hawaiian shirt, or what I call playground camo. It was really good. You got the night off of work. Oh wait, never mind. Yeah, a lot of guys, like, all people had for jokes was about Peter fucking me. That was all I had. These guys thought about Peter fucking me for weeks. Like, guys, we just share a Brazzers account. Just get over it. I'm really into oil. Give me a break. Dan Gilbert's here. I like Dan. I found out Dan's in a band. Has a band, actually. I love it, actually. It's great music to send girls mixed signals to. Dan, actually, I heard Dan gave his girlfriend herpes. Yeah, he finally got her something. He made himself. Dan's the type of guy to, like, buy an STD for recreational use and then eventual abuse. All right, it's a promise, fan. Okay, I feel like Dan, if he didn't pull out of a girl, he would, like, his excuse would be like, "Oh, babe, I didn't have a backup camera." Like, Jose is here. A sweet fire vet like you. I'm glad you're here. Have they gotten busted yet? You look, I've seen you before. Are you in like a Dry Fit commercial? They kind of like run the exact same as like tampon commercials. Like, you know, when you're like me, you're worried about spotting. I'm really worried. Jose's actually a great dad. Last night for dinner, he made his kids cry. I bet drunk white girls love saying your last name. Castaneda! Castaneda! Yeah, a lot of these guys I don't have jokes for. I just like stalked their Facebook, like deep. Kyle Hickory, good luck on your weight loss journey. You were at the casino a couple days ago. Yeah, did you win anything? Did you lose your virginity? You should have kept the mohawk. That's just deep. That's just for me. I'm laughing hard. I'm laughing hard at that one. Inside. I wish Pierre was here. Pierre is a magician. can see how gimmicky that one is nowadays. I actually bought Pierre like a bunch of tequila shots at a Engine Room, an open mic back home, and he thought I was just being nice, but like I was trying to fuck him. I was trying to put my dick where the bunnies come out of, you know what I mean? But his best trick was like making his wife disappear. You guys are like, I don't think he has a wife. Yeah, he's that good. Guys, he's that good. Pierre looks like what the lead singer of Limp Bizkit should look like. He looks like Fred Durst. Sean, I don't. Fuck owls. Fuck owls. That's just for him. You look like if Shaggy from Scooby-Doo was like really into bestiality. GW Foley, yeah, your favorite food is Kraft Singles. You look like, you still smoke cigarettes, right? You piece of shit. You look like you preemptively hang out at vape shops. Like someday I'm gonna do it. It's like a girl like, I'm not ready for a black guy yet. Like you're ready for it. Someday, meditate on it, think about it. Couple vinyasas. You look like the type of guy that would like write a complaint to Tinder. Like it's broken. I'm getting nobody all day. I'm running out of swipes. I gotta wait 12 hours. Nothing. All right. Finally, to Colin. Colin Doyle. Let's get a hand for him. Happy birthday, boy. You're old as shit. I had no idea. This night marks the night that Colin has run out of ideas. Like usually people do roasts like at the end of their careers and, yep. Like, there's nothing else you can do. You can't make like a comedy in crepes. You can't do like arts and craft beers or something stupid. Like the only thing you're gonna accomplish with acting is like maybe getting Me Too'd someday. You dating a girl in New York or something at one point? You were? Alright, this is gonna hurt even more then. I mean, yeah, it's pretty far away. That was probably like really good for her, right? It's like at least when he's coming, he's ready. You know, he's gonna fucking shower or something. Just have his own car. You know, his own. Okay. Switch. Can you help me? Oh, switch. Yeah. My voice is not. Oh. I'm glad you stopped wearing those stupid fucking hats. By the way. Just go to New York to see your girlfriend. Just like see all this shit you've seen a million times. Go to the subway, be like, oh, it's a different type of smelling bad this time. And you go out to dinner, and she gets dumplings. She offers you some. You're like, I'm on a diet. Like, dude, shut the fuck up. Stop. All right, if you're on a diet, you don't tell people you're on a diet. You just show up skinny. Okay. All right, thank you very much. That's my time.
Guys, I want to thank Gilman for getting cleaned up today. He was just at the barbershop. He was having a lot of trouble like explaining the kind of hair you want. Finally, he was like, well, you've seen Grindr, right? Next roaster is a really good friend of mine. We've been making fun of Peter. He's a great guy. He's got a lot of hobbies. One of his hobbies is actually driving for Uber full time to make a living. Peter looks like a retarded version of James Spader. Peter's the only guy that I've ever met that's ever gone stag to a father-daughter dance. Guys, please welcome my good friend, Peter Pardo.
Hey, look at that. I don't have to adjust the mic. Maybe just a little bit. How's it going, everyone? Happy birthday, Colin. Thank you very much for having me here. I could be down in Manchester watching Chad doing good comedy. So, GW, I understand that you did the Ancestry.com DNA test. You found out you were 50% French, 30% English, and 20% seal. Come on, give it up. It's like a fat Pee Wee Herman. Oh, man. I didn't write any notes because the last two roasts I tried to do, I took notes and I couldn't read my own writing, so I looked like a doofus. Like, what the fuck does this say? Oh, man. So I'm just going to kind of wing it, and I noticed they saved the best for last, or next to last. Actually, Colin paid me for my first gig. Actually, round of applause for that. He saw me down at the exit 20 off ramp. Kind of felt sorry for me. He said he needs an elderly comic to put in his comedy club to kind of even it out with Gilman. Got both ends of the spectrum. Kyle Hickory. Sounds like a Kentucky porn star. I heard Kyle recently lost like 200 pounds or so. That's when GW got off his back. Actually, 100 of that was tossing the cocaine out the window. Dan Gilbert. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
How was rehab? Haven't seen you forever. Dan looks like the kind of guy that would sell you a broken Xbox on Craigslist. I mean, just look at him. Would you look at him? Just look at him. I've seen tougher tattoos on lesbians. Brian Munzer, my buddy. How you doing? I always wondered how Brian takes a shit. Does he just like stand there? I just can't picture him sitting down. Well, toilets are way lower than that. Come on.
Sorry.
Oh, I can't use your joke to describe you. Okay, no, I won't do that. Brian actually used to work for AT&T as one of the telephone poles. Wow. Sound like I was on the Tonight Show. Brian, I've got a great one here. I'm just trying to think of it. When Brian goes down on a woman, it just takes him a little longer to get there. Jesus Christ! I was thinking that was my best Brian Munzer joke. Who paid you guys to stay quiet, for fuck's sakes? Oh my Lanta. Sean Hunter Williams. Lee Harvey Oswald. John Wayne Gacy. If you look in Sean's trunk, I guarantee you'll find a sniper rifle or a Tootsie Pops and duct tape. I'm so glad you got the memo on the dress code. I swear to God, this looks like the checkout line at Walmart on EBT day. Or somebody mentioned the lineup at the Claremont PD. Or picture day in 5th grade. Jose, can you see? I was getting hungry sitting over there because every time I looked at the back of your neck looked like a pack of hot dogs. And just send me the bill for the lawn. How many lawn jokes can you do with Jose? Jose is a great dad. He stopped taking baths with his stepdaughter when she turned 16. Did I strike a nerve? I know it's a long night. Let's get to Colin here. Gilman. He looks like that asshole high school student who wants to play on the girls' soccer team. He's the reason we have gender-neutral bathrooms now. Fucking millennials. And a report just came out recently that millennials are the cheapest tippers, and like 10% don't tip at all. But I usually give Gilman 10%, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm saying. What the hell was that? I'm not gay, but Gilman does ride on my lap when we go to Manchester open mics. You sweet thing, you. I'll be your Uber driver any day. Oh, man. I am not gay. And I'm still working, you assholes. I got 29 days left. Then I'm a full-time Uber driver. Did I do you yet? Did I do you yet? I have not done you yet. I'll do you after the show. I did mention that you paid me for my first gig, and I appreciate that very much. I always told Colin, well, he knows it himself, that he looks like Tom Cruise. The one difference between him and Tom is Tom's actually funny. Sorry, man. No, but I am honored to be here, and this is a blast, and I hope we do it again some year, and I hope you lose more weight, GW. Bring it up, Colin Doyle, or Brian Munzer.
Peter, the irony of you making a pedophile joke is like if you made fun of somebody for not being funny. That's the best he's actually ever done. Make a wish, we can fill out the paperwork. We have completed it. Thank you, Peter. Now it's my great pleasure to now turn to the man of the hour.
Peter Bardot.
I forgot one joke. You gave Gilbert a chance. Thank you, Brian. I just wanted to give Colin a birthday present. Because you mean the world to me, Colin. I wanted you to be like me.
Okay, covered. Yeah.
I got Colin a Hawaiian shirt. I hope it's big enough. I get a smaller size if we need to.
Next time, just do the shirt. It's fun to be up here. We're going to talk about Colin for a second now, and what I love about Colin is that I've done a lot of shows for him, and he's always paid me by asking to do another show. Colin, he always asks me to introduce him as like a veteran New York comedian. And like any veteran New York comedian, he moved to Bridgewater, Vermont to start a comedy club where the directions to get to the club are, okay, you go through a Romantos, then there's a post office, there's like a sewing place, and then like the third Thursday of the second month of the year, there might be 12 people here. I've met a lot of Colin's friends because that's the only people that generally come to shows. If you've seen Colin's act, you know that he does a world-class Tom Cruise impression. So you don't know is Colin actually tried out to be a professional Tom Cruise impersonator. And when he tried out, the casting director, he said it's the only time I've ever said, like, could you do it, like, but not quite as gay. And I've never said this either, but like, we need you to be taller. Dan was wearing these clothes. And I overheard Dan asking Colin, like, he's like, wow, like, well, I don't have a suit. Where can I get a suit? Colin's like, I don't know. I just go to Build-A-Bear. Yeah, you know, it's like, you know, I buy on the rack, you know, Build-A-Bear next to like the little Boston Red Sox. Oh, cool, they got the black Chuck Taylors. Guys, I'm really glad though. I always love working for Colin because he always does put on a good show. He's very funny, and we always have a good time after the show. And I'm always proud. I'm always happy when he asks me to host something. I know it's going to be a fun night. I mean, there won't be anyone at the show, but we're going to have fun at the show. So thank you for letting me do this, Colin. Colin Doyle, everyone.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for coming out. Give yourselves a round of applause. G.W. Foley. G.W. Foley is such a nerd, and when he goes to Best Buy, the Geek Squad asks him for advice.
Pretty much.
You look like you know what you're doing. GW looks like the type of guy who would collect trolls from the 90s. Ones with the crazy hair and the little belly stuff. Now I think about it, it's probably because he looks like the largest one ever made. I love these things. GW is a Vermonter, but he's not a typical Vermonter. He doesn't hunt, he doesn't farm. Closest he comes to fishing is when he's able to hook a finger in Kyle Hickory's mouth. Kyle, my man. Kyle likes Gavin McInnes. He's a comedian, does his own show, co-founded Vice. I guess I know him from wiping my ass across his face in a national commercial at the age of 23. That's really all I know of him.
You did great.
Thank you. Thank you. True story. Pierre was supposed to be here tonight. Pierre isn't able to be here. He owns Frog Alley Tattoo, so he's probably piercing someone's clitoris right now. I got stuff to do. It's important. Shop's not gonna run itself. Pierre's a really interesting guy, and we perform with him a lot in Middlebury. He was a professional wrestler, and he literally is like the type of guy who, anything he, done anything, nothing would surprise me. Like, he runs a tattoo shop. Some guy comes in and like, I'm sorry, but do you tattoo buttholes? He's like, do I? Welcome to Middlebury. In the right place. My buddy Dan Gilbert. A round of applause for Dan. Or actually, give a round of applause for me for putting up with Dan on that comedy tour. I did that. That was a real thing. Dan's the worst fucking person to be on the road with. One night I woke up, we were like hungry, of course, and I had half of a steak and cheese sandwich, and I look, and Dan's just like, I'm like, is that my sandwich? He's like, oh. There's no punchline. I just want to tell you, he's the type of guy who would eat your sandwich on the road. What type of friend is that? Dan, I'm giving you a hard time, but I really think it's amazing the progress you've made as a human. 10 years ago, he was getting hurt on his skateboard, hitting whatever mics he could, playing in a shitty band. Now I think about how much has changed.
Dan does love his skateboard. He brings that fucking thing with him everywhere, which I think is fitting because he's destined to live the rest of his life on a mobile platform. Just gonna be a little bigger. Not quite, but a little bit. Because let's be honest, like a trailer is really just a skateboard for a giant. Right? I never knew that till I saw Brian Munzer hit the half pipe down there in Lebanon on a double wide. That was unbelievable. Brian obviously disappoints women whenever he's with them. Because I think it goes without saying, it's true. He does lack what they assume he's going to have. Intelligence. Like, this guy looks smart. He's not. No, he just had to do an ancestry test to figure out what his ancestors were. Turns out he's actually has ancestors from Africa, which I found really shocking. Yeah, he's half Irish, half giraffe. Unbelievable. Brian is a father. Not going to talk about your daughter, but he does talk about his daughter sometimes in his show. I think Brian's still frankly shocked that he actually had sex with a woman in Spain. Like, I did it! I did it! Sean. I have a note here. It just says, Sean looks like an incompetent, and then I can't read the rest of it. But I'm going to go with that. Brian says I look like I work at the chocolate factory, but Sean's clearly the one with the Oompa Loompa haircut. Like, I saw this really cool haircut one time in a film. Go with that. Did I do it, Dan? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not like me now.
Oh, yeah. No, how did I skip Dan? I'm still in Dan. Yeah. Oh, I can't remember now.
Happy
Oh,
birthday.
yeah. Yeah, happy birthday. A lot of people say that Dan Gilbert's cool. People say Dan's cool. Frankly, I don't know when men with poor senses of style, haircuts, taste in literature, music, and poetry are considered cool. Those are the times we're living in. Jose, thank you for coming. Give a round of applause for Jose. Jose's like the Fez of our group, in that 70s show. Kind of like Fez. Like, his ethnicity is unknown to us all. He has this kind of like Latin sort of vibe, and he's not funny, so it's pretty fitting. Jose is a great friend, though to have. I really appreciate you. Recently, I found out there was a guy who was talking shit about me at a show, and Jose had to go up to him and be like, Joe, man, Colin's my fucking boy. I just wouldn't want that type of person like, hey, not me. I'm gonna stop running my mouth right now. I don't know if he's got a little Maybelline covering up the teardrops. I'm pretty sure he's killed a man. It's like everybody thinks that's a pen right there. No, that's just his original prison shank. Carries that thing everywhere with it. Gilman, thank you for being here. Round of applause for Gilman, huh? He thinks he has promise, but he's just going to squander it all because you're lazy. He's a handsome man. I think that goes without saying. Gilman reminds me of Leonardo DiCaprio in the Titanic. I could only hope his life goes that way. That is to say that you stay poor forever. Only to think that you want to trip on a boat, standing on the front saying, hey, I'm the king of the world! Fall in love with someone who finally appreciates and loves you, and then you freeze to death in the ocean. freeze to death and die in the Arctic. Is the way that ended for Leo. So.
I would have said Basketball Diaries.
Basketball Diaries, yeah. I don't know, does he die at the end of the Basketball Diaries?
No, but
No, then I don't like that one as much. Thank you, Gilman, for bringing your date here tonight. I didn't know if we were going to be able to get Peter out of the woodshed. It's true, Peter is now driving Uber, which he loves because he's found a new platform to invite strangers into his car without having to use candy. So true. I'm worried about you, Peter. I'm worried about you. You say you have CRS, can't remember shit. The rest of the medical community calls it dementia. Trying to find him a home now. Might get him a spot in the one in White River so he can walk to the engine room. Peter's already ready. He's going to do a geriatric comedy show. It's going to be called Karaoke and Tapioca Pudding. It's going to go over big in the old folks' home. Peter's so white and pale, when he goes to Hawaii, the locals say, aloha. And Peter says, aloe vera. Nobody mentioned this. Peter is a bisexual. That means he masturbates to images both of men and dancing ukulele girls. They go on your dashboard. He fucking loves those things. And I think that's all I have. I want to thank you guys all for coming down here tonight. I want to thank my parents and my brother for being here tonight, my wonderful family. Please give them a round of applause. They've been more than supportive over the years, and I love them. I want to thank you guys all for coming. This is our 3rd anniversary in this space. Actually, the first time we did a show here, I was 27. So it was on my birthday 3 years ago. So thank you guys for supporting the Woolen Mill. It's been a lot of fun. We certainly appreciate you all. And please hang out. We're going to be hanging out. And I will see you guys here soon. Thank you so much. Also, please, big round of applause to these guys coming up here and taking these shots. It's been a lot of fun. And if anybody wants to make a donation, we are accepting donations to the Alex Abraham Musical Excellence Scholarship. It goes without saying, we lost a very good friend who played here a lot, so we're still mourning his loss. And the scholarship's been going well, so anybody who wants to make a contribution to that, I will be accepting money for that. So thank you guys very much. Cheers.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Colin. Happy birthday to you.
I love it. I love it. My inner narcissist going nuts right now. Thank you guys so much. Love you all.